So today I'm finally deciding to take my Acclamator apart, and there's a couple reasons for it. One, there's a lot of pieces that I used for this that I need to finish the MOC that I'm working on, the 5 Conspiracy MOC, the finale, which is coming out probably in a week or so. But, I mean, it outlived its time, so I kind of want to do a review on how I feel like I did. So here it is compared to the Useless Venator. Here it is the actual scale. I think I got pretty close. Obviously, it's a little smaller than I guess the scale is technically. But putting it beside the Venator, I mean, it looks good. Like, it looks nice by it. And it can be displayed in a fleet, which is what my goal was. I just wanted to be able to be, you know, for it to look nice next to it. And I think it really succeeded in that. I mean, obviously, the engines, you know, it doesn't look as good as the UCS Venator or as sleek. There's a couple things that I would change next time if I were to remake this. First off, these pieces up here, they aren't connected to anything. I know, it's tragic. it's atrocious. Yeah, they kind of just sit there. So I would want to redesign that more like the UCS Venator. It's more sleek. The front is too bulky. Like the UCS Venator, it's more compact. And the Gremlin on the side, it's a little messy, and it's a little too chaotic, too many colors, I think. So I would want to sort of simplify that down. Once again, copying more off of the UCS Venator style is just more simplistic. And this is a problem. The fact that these are not parallel, that is a huge problem for me. And I didn't know how to fix it. I would have needed to completely redesign how the top flaps, like the top, like, and the bottom, the angles in which they're at. The bottom angles a lot, like it goes pretty deep, which I think personally, I think it goes too deep. But in order for that, I'd have to redesign a lot. I'd have to redesign the engines. I don't like how the back looks particularly. I would have to like order, I guess, pieces just like the Venator's engines, because I'd want it to look similar. The bridge section is okay. I got that from the Venator, and I am pleased with it. But unfortunately, that part that the bridge sits on is too small, which a subscriber very graciously commented and pointed out. Which I'm actually, that wasn't sarcasm. I'm actually grateful of that. It's also not well balanced. If you press on it even a tiny bit, it just falls forward. It's forward heavy, so I'd have to replace where that, I guess, where that stand is. But also that tail fin is not nearly long enough for an Acclamator. So in that sense, maybe it would balance itself out if I made the tail fin longer. The bridge just comes off super easily. That's how that part works. It kind of just sits on top with gravity, and as we saw, the other two pieces come off. These flaps come off pretty easily as well. They're not really held on by much. That's more like gravity as well, but they do have some, I guess, stud connectors in the back to hold them in place. They're pretty much a mirrored view of each other. That's the interior. As you can see, it is definitely not stable compared to the UCS Venator. Like, the pieces come off in blocks. As you can see, this is how I attempted to get the angle with the, I guess, the dorsal top, that maroon red bar, which is, you know, an okay design. That's the front, as you can see, very bulky, trying to fill that in. And the front became bulky, not out of design, but because these two bottom panels, which you're seeing me take off right now, I couldn't bring them closer together. And so I kind of just had to work with what I had. And these are the bottom panel pieces, not much design, just, I guess, enough design for it to look interesting. But they're really only held on by hinge plates, and those like ball sockets, they're not that sturdy. Like, if I were to press on one, it would easily like come unconnected, unfortunately. So that was very delicate. These are the engines I stole from the Ghost. I changed a little bit about them when I repurposed them for this MOC of mine. And then, yeah, here is like the, I guess, the back engines, you know, all that stuff. And yeah, I mean, they don't look as good as they could. Here's the Gremlin. how I did that, how it works at an angle. As you can see, it looks quite a mess out of context. And so I should have kept to a simpler color palette and building scheme when it came to that. That is the back of it. You can see the stand right there on the bottom. And I mean, a lot of these come off in really big chunks. I mean, if you want to really break it down, like this really just breaks down to the UCS Venator skeleton. I actually started with an instruction booklet, the instruction booklet 1, and I just started building the UCS Venator out of spare pieces that I had, mainly trying to get that Technic, I guess, skeletal structure, that foundation, that strength. As you can see, that rear fin, the bottom part rarely connects. It connects smack dab in the middle on like a couple studs. But it works, you know. There's stuff that you try where it's like, that's not really a great, like, I guess, connection, which if I were to make this into a set, you know, like make instructions for it, sell them, I would want it to be as durable as Lego. You know, I'd want to make this, not saying that this isn't good quality, I would want to make it the best quality. And this is sort of like the MOCs where it's like you build it this way and it works. If it works, then you're good. It doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be a legal build-in technique. But if it works, you're fine with it. And you can't really do that when you're making instructions for other people because they have to build it and it has to work, you know, 90% of the time, or I guess ideally 100%. As you can see, I'm taking apart the stand. It was a very similar style to the Venator's stand. In the future, I would have, or I guess I would, that's weird. In the future, I would probably make 2 stands like the Venator has instead of trying to put it all on one stand. That was just, once again, me not really knowing where I'd put the front stand. I'd have to make another hole in the bottom, and I just, you know, didn't really. Maybe it's not that I didn't know how, but I didn't really want to change that. So that stand right there that you're looking at, you know, I'm taking it apart, a lot of black Technic, all that stuff. But as you can clearly see, like, we're breaking this down more and more, and it's really starting to look like what you build in instruction booklet 1 of the Venator, like that skeletal structure, what looks like a sword, except this one is shorter because it's an Acclamator, not a Venator. It has a lot of different colors, but it doesn't matter because they're on the inside, so they're hidden anyway. But I mean, ideally, if I were to do this again in the future, I'd want to still have a color scheme in the center. I would completely reorganize and re-evaluate the building techniques and try to more closely match them to the UCS Venator, so the angles are perfect, I guess the structure is perfect, the way all of the pieces line up together, just like the UCS Venator is perfect, so there we are. Well, everyone, if I were to remake this Acclamator, sorry, another thing I learned about this ship during this experience is that it's called an Acclamator, not an Acclamator, which makes more sense because Acclamator is a word, so there we go. Anyway, there's a lot of parts that I did like about this set, that I did, and a lot of things that I didn't like. I would definitely spend more time thinking about how to utilize, like how to change the UCS Venator build-in style to accommodate a smaller build, and so that, you know, the gribble on the side would match better, you know, it would be more flat, you know, these would be more lined up, it would be sturdier, then it would be more well balanced, it would look better in the engine section. Like, there's just so much I would change. But I think for a first go around of trying to make an Acclamator for the first time, especially trying to make it in scale with the Venator, I think I did a pretty good job. I would keep the bridge design. I mean, I would make this part bigger as we discussed before, but the bridge design I really like. I would keep that. So there we are. Anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. This is Story Studios. Like, comment, subscribe down below for more MOCs and stuff like that. And I mean, you know, I'm going to be doing some crazy MOCs in the future, you know it. I mean, it's going to take it's going to be a matter of time of how long it takes. But yeah, I mean, obviously, I have shown that I'm curious, that I'm curious enough to try to make stuff like this. And this was a fun challenged. I mean, this took me weeks to try to figure out how to make this, but I'm happy I did. And we learn, you know, we try new things, we learn from them, we try to do them better next time. Don't know when the next time for this is going to be, but let's just say there will be one. So there we are. Anyway, this is Sawyer Studios. Like, comment, subscribe. See you on the next video. Peace out.